Hello, today I'm going to draw a Gigantosaurus. Now, he looks a lot like a Giganotosaurus, which is a real dinosaur, whereas the Gigantosaurus isn't necessarily a real dinosaur. And you'll notice he's much more realistic than... I've already drawn these in some other videos, so bonehead, bill, tiny and fin, and they're much more stylised. They don't look like real dinosaurs, they're more like little cartoon characters that look a bit like dinosaurs. Whereas the Gigantosaurus is kind of like a more realistic Giganotosaurus or T-Rex type dinosaur. So I'm going to start with the head, which is, I always start with the head because it's more fun. And I'm going to start off with with a rounded square again, like we have a few times. But it's at a bit of an angle because he's going to be looking down. So there we go, a kind of rounded square. It's quite light again. And I'm going to press harder as I draw him in. So I'm going to draw an angry eyebrow look. And a little eye. When I drew Bonehead and Tiny and Bill, you'll notice they had really big eyes compared to their body. So the eyes are really big compared to their body, and that makes them look cuter. Like babies have much bigger eyes in proportion to their body than grown-ups do. But to make him look bigger and more ferocious, his eye is kind of much smaller in proportion to his body, and he's got a little ridge going up there over his eye, and then his nose curves around like this, and then we can draw some teeth. Do different sizes. He's got this curvy jaw. And then some of his teeth on my Gigantosaurus stick up and some of his teeth stick down. And the mouth, I don't necessarily want it to, you could do a big smiley mouth like that. It'd look like a very happy dinosaur. But I kind of going to do a sort of like that, so it goes up like he's going to smile, but then it curves downwards again to make it look a bit more sort of annoyed. Actually, should we put a little eye in? You can be looking, not sure where he's looking actually, looking straight at us maybe. There, and we'll give him a nostril. So my Gigantosaurus had kind of pointy nostrils, like sort of teardrop shapes. And you can do some little lines around that, like this, and maybe a little bump here to show there's a nostril on the other side. And then we'll do one tooth coming down. So those like little triangles, you do some wrinkles at the top where they meet the things, and then maybe a few more sticking up. I can't remember exactly how I did them on the book when I should look at the picture again, but I'm too busy drawing this. And then some wrinkles around the end of the mouth like that. So there's his head, ferocious Gigantosaurus looking head. They also had kind of weird hollow sort of shapes on them, Giganotosauruses, so we'll sort of draw that. Maybe one around his eye, and one here. You can ignore those if you like and just draw lots of scales. And then I'm going to go down from his head down to his body, and the body's just like a big sort of egg really. The head's kind of flowed into the... So imagine a big egg here. It's just like a big egg. I'm not going to press hard here because that's going to go into the tail, and I've not left enough room on the piece of paper, so I'll have to think about what I'm going to do about that. Then press a bit harder when I know where the shape's going to go. Maybe that needs to go up there a little bit. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this tail because there's no room over here, look. You'll notice I'm drawing on a bigger piece of paper anyway. This is an A3 piece of paper, which is two A4s. You can draw on an A4, stick two A4s together, which would be A3. I might actually stick an A4 on the end for the tail over here, because there's no room for his tail. Look, that's the edge of the paper. I started drawing bigger than I expected to. But that happens a lot. If I don't draw the whole thing out lightly, then it won't fit on the piece of paper, and I get in a panic, and sometimes you might end up with, not trying to squeeze it on and it looks wrong, but you can always just stick another piece of paper on with some sellotape. So there's the legs on a Gigantosaurus or a Giganotosaurus they're kind of like big chicken legs really. So I'm going to draw those in shapes. They kind of, you've got this sort of rounded shape here which joins the body with wrinkles, and it goes down to his knee. Maybe some more wrinkles here, look, where it's joining his body. And then it goes backwards a bit. This is like the bottom half of your leg. This is like the top half of your leg, but it doesn't really get past the body. And then the bottom half of your leg, going here, this is your knee. Do some wrinkles on the knee. And then the foot is kind of, maybe I should draw the ground in. Do a straight line for the ground. He's on a very flat bit of ground, trotting through the desert. And then the toes, he kind of runs around on tiptoes really. So this is kind of tricky, so but if it goes wrong, start it again or rewind. So that's his heel, that's like your heel, sticks out at the back. So there's the top of his leg. This is the bottom of his leg, and this is his long stretchy foot with his heel sticking out here. And his toes come down on the ground here, look. We'll do, I think they had 3. So we'll do one here, and do a sharp claw. Can make it more pointy if you like. You could even shade it in like that. And do some wrinkles where it meets the ground. Maybe some wrinkles here. And he's got another one. That meets the ground, like that, look. And then another one here. A bit like his teeth really, but curvy. There's one leg, and then where's the other leg going to go? Maybe I'll have it sort of a bit like when I do the back leg on the little dinosaurs. It's kind of a similar shape. I'm going to draw it a bit lighter to make sure it fits on with a funny heel. Goes down behind this leg. Pointy nails. It's quite tricky this, to get it all the right shapes, but just do one. If it goes wrong, do another one. Or sort of rewind, or just press lightly till you're sure it's in the right place. I've just done that lightly for now because I'm going to draw in his claws. But they had Gigantosauruses, T-Rexes, all these sort of dinosaurs had, I can't remember the proper word, but all these dinosaurs have really little diddy-widdy arms. I'm not sure what good they were for anything really. So we draw a little diddy arm in here. And this is actually how I discovered, well, I made a mistake when I wrote Gigantosaurus. I went on a painting course in America and I met a very famous dinosaur artist called James Gurney. And he does lots of dinosaurs for National Geographic. You should look him up if you like dinosaurs. He's an amazing dinosaur artist. And I'd done a drawing of what I said was a T-Rex. And he looked at it and said, that's not a T-Rex. I said, it is a T-Rex. He said, it's not a T-Rex. I said, it is a T-Rex. And he said T-Rexes only have 2 claws, and I'd drawn it with 3 claws like this. And he said it could be a Giganotosaurus, and I wrote it down, but I wrote it down wrong, and I wrote down Gigantosaurus. And that's kind of why my book was called Gigantosaurus. There's his body, and here's the light bit, look, he can go down. This is the light bit on his tummy, see if you want to colour it in. And then he's got another hand. Where's his other claw going to go? Maybe we'll have it sticking up like this. And I'll draw that lighter again. Just draw the pointy claws. There's a finger. Another pointy claw. And another pointy claw just sticking out like that. And then some shady bits. He looks like he's put his hands over a nice warm fire. Anyway, this leg would do this a bit darker. Now I wasn't sure whether his arms had... And I'm going to shade it all here so it looks like it's on the other side. Maybe I could shade the whole thing, but then it might get a bit messy, especially if you want to colour it in. Sometimes when I shade around the shape of something like this and it makes it look... So if you imagine his foot, if I shading curves rather than really straight, it makes it look even more like the shape it should be. That's kind of more complicated drawing really. I'm still a bit stuck on this tail. because there's no paper left. Maybe he's a bit like a chicken, but he does need a tail. Dinosaurs like this, big dinosaurs, use their tails to help them balance. So when they were moving along, if they leant forward, their tails would go sort of longer. And he has little the spiky things on his top of his neck as well. So we'll draw a few of those maybe. I'm not sure whether they would have been this big, but this is my Gigantosaurus. He's a bit stylized. Maybe I'll draw some more realistic dinosaurs next. And you can draw in lots of scales. Could take a while because he's so big. And it's on A3 as well. It's a bigger piece of paper. You can draw yours on A4 if you like. You might not have A3 paper at home. But being an illustrator, I've got loads of paper at home. More wrinkles there. Maybe a bit of slobber dribbling down, look, because he's hungry. There, he's dripping slobber. Oh, it could be blood, who knows? It's not really straight, is it? There we go, there's some slobber. So, what we're going to do about this tail, got some more pencils here, move those out of the way. Going to get a piece of A4. Like I say, A4 is half an A3. Look, there's one, it goes there. But I'm going to make this even longer, so I'm going to stick this. Maybe I'll just put it slightly underneath it. Have I got some sellotape handy? Oh, go find some sellotape. Got a bit of sellotape. Stick some sellotape on. Hopefully that won't get in the way. Hopefully I've left enough room there for his tail. So he's going to be quite long. You're not going to see him on one screen. So there he is. His tail, we kind of balance with his tail. So imagine he's here. Unfortunately, I'm filming this on my iPad. And it's stuck on a thing. I've attached it to a thing, so I can't lift it up to get it all to fit in. There's his tail. Look, big curvy tail. It comes up from his body. It's quite thick here, and it gets thinner. Then if you do it like that and then curve around, it makes it look curvier. Look, if that bit goes up and joins here, that's a big tail. I've got to extend the ground as well. You see that? No. There we are, there's a big tail, and carry on these spikes. And carry on this lighter bit that goes under his tummy, like this. Some scales. So that's his tail, that's his body. It's like he's moving along. Like that. There's a big well, no, he's not T-Rex, is he? He's a Gigantosaurus. Anyway, so there's his Gigantosaurus. Now, maybe to make him look even bigger, we could draw something in. Like one of the little dinosaurs in, so maybe put some rocks on the ground here. Some grass. Maybe sort of a bit of a tree. That's not supposed to be a very big tree, otherwise he'd be a really massive Gigantosaurus. So maybe, oh, my pencil's a bit sharp. I've got an electric pencil sharpener. You might hear a loud noise. I don't always use it, but I haven't got time to start sharpening my pencil while I'm drawing. So maybe we could do Tiny, or what's he called in the Bill? He's called in the TV series. If you ever watched that, do him here. Looking up, so his little pupils are right up at the top like that, and his little nostrils there, mouth, and he can be little fingers over the rock. There's his tail sticking up. That just helps show how big the Gigantosaurus is. He could be saying, what could he be saying? Like eek or wow. Maybe a wow. There we are. Went a bit close to the exclamation mark there, but he's all excited because he's seen Gigantosaurus. Maybe we should have the Gigantosaurus looking down at him. There. It looks more like he's looking down now. But you could put, that's kind of his whole body, everything drawn, and I could spend ages doing all these scales. But that would take a while. Maybe some more wrinkles under the teeth. Look, where the teeth join the body, you could have little wrinkles like this. But you can spend a long time doing details. Maybe I'll do a few more details and then show the picture later. Ignore this bit here. Where's my rubber gone? I've got that little pen rubber. Rub those out, because that looks like his body's going through his leg, but his leg's not. Should have pressed even lighter. And that's him. That's a Gigantosaurus. I should have drawn. I could draw a lot more scales on here, but it would take a long time. Remember, if maybe you could do them in lines and make them in patterns like brickwork or something. But it does take a long time, and you might get a bit bored. So I'll do that later. So if you draw your Gigantosaurus, as I said, he is quite tricky. Draw it slowly. Think of the shapes. This is a squarey shape. Then you draw this big egg. Then you try and draw this. This is like an upside down egg. And then you make it. Remember, this line goes like this, and then like this, and then like this with these big pointy toes. If you get stuck or it really goes wrong, just start it again or rub it out the bits that have gone wrong. Have a look at it and think what's wrong with it, and rub out the bits that go wrong. Oh no! Look, I've just broken my pencil. Pressing too hard. Go all the way to his tail. You can always stick some pieces of paper together if he doesn't fit on, and you can stop and rewind and go back if you need to look sort of more carefully about what I've just drawn. Oh, that really has broken. It's a completely weird shape now, which is quite nice actually. Some wrinkles there, maybe a bit of a shadow under his arm, and post them online if you like. Send them to me on Twitter or Facebook, or I'm not very good with Instagram, or Instagram if it works. And I look forward to seeing them. And maybe I'll draw some more realistic dinosaurs. He's still a little bit cartoony. Whoops, I've just drawn a big line on it. Maybe I'll do some more realistic dinosaurs over the next few days. Then we've got some rain at the weekend, so I'll do a few then. Thank you very much. Bye bye.